Do you have OCs? Do you want to share their story somewhere? Maybe a comic? But you're looking for some tips because, well, you don't know what you're doing. Well, let me help! Hi, I'm Mar and I'm creator of a new comic called Free Education. I've been doing comics for a while and I have personal experiences and mistakes I would love to help you avoid. So let's get into it! First comic tip you should know before starting: check your hosting site information. I know this might sound stupid and unimportant, but oh, trust me, it is. Let me tell you a quick story. About a year ago, I just finished my Pilot Part 2 chapter. I wasn't planning to post it right away, but I wanted to check how it would look out of excitement. So I put it into a webtoon episode and clicked preview. The chapter was too long to be posted. How does this happen? So instead of being a smart person and reading about the limit of pages in a webtoon, I decided to be stupid and just made the chapter how I wanted and just hoped it would fit, which it didn't, and by a ton. So I spent the next few days squeezing the pages into each other as much as I could, and you know what? Tapas had even smaller limit, so please check your information beforehand. For me, since that happened, I've decided to count my thumbnail pages way before starting any sketching. I would also recommend searching the dimensions. I usually do 800 by 3840 and just let Tapas and Webtoon crop it themselves. It wasn't always a feature, but it helps a ton nowadays. Second comic tip you should know before starting: do not waste your first episode. What I mean by this is that sometimes when I go to a comic, usually a smaller one, and I click on their first episode expecting the hook, the thing that will get me into the story. But instead it's just coming out soon poster, or the book cover, or even, hey, I have this comic idea, so stay tuned. And I'm just like, why would you do that? That's incredibly lowering your chances of getting seen. A lot of people usually decide if they want to read this comic based on completely first impression. And if the first thing they see is a coming out soon, it's just gonna bore them. Why wait for something you know nothing about when there are many comics already done? It's sad, but it's true. I would definitely recommend making your first scene around a hook of any kind. Get creative! Third comic tip you should know before starting: don't make your first project a group project. By this I mean those indie projects that people usually post on TikTok, like looking for artists. For a lot of people it can be a huge opportunity on how to get their first project out there. If the group projects like this are hosted correctly and everything is being controlled so everyone actually does their part, it can be really helpful. But as your first project, no. Usually a lot of time you have no idea what you're really doing, and the worst thing you could be trying to do is trying to hire more people. You're still learning about everything, and having more people depending on you can be really stressful and messy. You might put way more on your plate than you can handle and can end up bad, so please start your first project alone. It can be smaller, but you need to get the hang of it before going all in. You also need to make sure that yes, this is the thing you want to do. So when you hire all those people, you won't go just, wait a minute, this is way too much work, I'm out. Speaking of, fourth comic tip you should know before starting: make a buffer. What is a buffer, you may ask? It means having multiple chapters ready to post for next few weeks or months. It might sound annoying, but it's incredibly important. Having your chapters scheduled means a lot to your readers. It gives them the message that you are serious about this project. In order to post on schedule consistently, you need a buffer. How big the buffer should be? Big. Bigger than you think it should be. For me, I have a buffer now consisting of 8 chapters, currently working on the 9th. It's a pretty good buffer. It makes my work completely stress-free because I know I have plenty of time to finish the chapters I'm working on at the moment. So I must agree that it's very hard to resist posting more frequently. I definitely want to post more, but right now, with how much I have work, I just can't afford it. A frequent, slower schedule is way better than posting everything at once and then posting it like once a year. And on the last tip, fifth comic tip you should know before starting: check as many resources as you can. When I started to work on this project, I checked everywhere and anywhere to get some tips. And not just comic ones. A lot of resources from other media can help drastically in the comic process too, like writing, character design, storyboard, and much more. Here are some of my go-to for a few categories. There are thousands of videos giving tips about honestly everything. These 3 are the most basic ones, but you could find a ton of helpful tips in any kind of media. You never know what you'll find. Okay, that will be the end of this video. Before I end, I want to say that this is your comic. You don't have to listen to me at all. Do what you want, except for the comic page limit. Please check the comic page limit. I have honestly way more tips than this, but I wanted to make my first ever video shorter to test the waters, you know. So if you would be interested for more parts, then tell me down in the comments. How I said, this is very much my first video and it's very new for me, so I would appreciate any kind of support. Likes, shares, everything helps. Or even tell me about your own dream project down in the comments. I would love to hear. Okay, I'm running out of time. Bye!